Hello, this is Dan. I wanted to make another video here to go into some factual information that is available. I've been real busy with the Now Man show, finishing up this second season. We're winding down now, so there's a lot of work to do all the time, but getting to the end of this particular season. And I haven't been able to go out to any of the marches and rallies and things like that since the election. So once I have some time to do that, I'll go out there and I'll connect with people and I'll have additional information and see what the temperature is of people going out there, what they're actually out there thinking and doing and all that kind of thing. But in the meantime, I did want to address some facts about the election, what led up to it, etc. Because people do seem to want to talk about that. There's an emotional release that needs to happen, and I get that because some people went through a huge shock on November the 8th and still are. I keep getting reports about that. Now let's talk, let's discuss. So I'm working on those kinds of ideas as well going forward, reaching out to you, and feel free to reach out to me. But I want to go over some facts, starting with the mainstream media. Okay, mainstream media coverage. I don't know if you heard much about it, but the this is measured in amounts of millions, okay, of free media time. Let's look first at the Democratic Party. The establishment candidate, the Wall Street and big corporate funded candidate, Hillary Clinton, got the equivalent of $746 million worth of free media from the mainstream media, etc. So next in line was Bernie Sanders, running as a Democrat, 321 million. Okay, less than half of what Hillary Clinton got from the mainstream media, and that's the fact. Now, to put my spin on it, what I saw, I watched quite a bit of the media that Bernie Sanders got, more so than anybody else, and I have to say a lot of what I saw was slanted towards Hillary Clinton. So, and all this data is media coverage, whether it was biased, whether it was slanted, whether it was putting someone on a pedestal or marginalizing. That's not what I'm talking about. It's the number of calculated dollars based on the number of hours. Now, going to the Republican side, the top establishment candidate was Jeb Bush, obviously $214 million worth of coverage. So Bernie Sanders did get more than him. But by far, the most media coverage was given to Donald Trump, the Republican Party's so-called populist candidate. That was nearly $1.9 billion of free media coverage, okay? That's the first fact to wrap your brain around. The next fact I wanted to take a look at is that we break it down to populist and corporate candidates. Okay, the corporate candidates are the ones that are supported by big money. When you look at that data, Jeb Bush got the most money, $82 million, followed by Rubio at 55, Bernie Sanders slightly more than Hillary Clinton, but that again, that's not corporate money. What's amazing about that is that money comes from the average person out there doing crowdfunding on the internet at approximately $27 a pop, as Jill Stein would say. That is amazing. That is absolutely amazing. And Donald Trump only received about $10 million, it says here. This is data from the New York Times. All the stuff I've just gone over with. So, now, also looking at the voters, the registration data shows that over 40% of the people that are registered to vote are registered independent. They're not individually registered as Democrat and Republican. Okay, independent. And I was looking at data at realclearpolitics.com for a long time, and most of the polls I saw with the independents, again, this is not data of who's registered. We already know the vast majority, the biggest voting bloc are registered as independent in 2016. That's data that goes back quite a while, actually, to even what helped Barack Obama get elected in 2008. But the data that I looked at for the election of 2016, poll after poll after poll, where the independents were involved, people were going to vote for Bernie Sanders over Donald Trump, significantly, past the margin of error, which margin of error is about 3-4%, something like that, way above that. And if they couldn't vote for Bernie Sanders, they were going to vote for Donald Trump. So they tended to go for the populist candidate, in other words, based on that. Now, the rest states, the states like Wisconsin, Ohio, Pennsylvania, these states went for Donald Trump. They did go for Bernie Sanders in the primaries. The reason for this is that there's a lot of blue-collar people in these states. Now, these are rural areas, small towns, and they don't like establishment candidates, apparently. And so when they go out to vote, they vote for the populist candidate, or at least that's what they did in 2016. The Electoral College was set up so that that they could have more of a voice in determining who the next president would be, because most of the popular votes are going to come from LA area, Bay Area in California, Chicago area, New York City area, and it just wouldn't, if it was solely based on popular vote, it really wouldn't be fair to the people going out to vote in the much less populated areas in the Rust Belt, the Rust states. So that is why Hillary Clinton got the overall majority of the popular vote, but Donald Trump got the majority, and this kind of significant majority, all things considered, of the Electoral College vote. So those are facts as well. Now, a fact or two more here. I'm trying to stay away from opinions, but I would have to say I'm seeing some criticism of Bernie Sanders, also FBI Director Comey, as being the reasons why Hillary Clinton lost this election. I think that that might be true. It might not be true. It's opinion, but it still doesn't explain why the Democrats, who had a lot of momentum with people like Bernie Sanders, why they didn't get the majority of the House and the Senate. So I think that speaks volumes that more and more people feel like establishment candidates don't seem interested in them. There's half the country is poor, basically. Statistically, there's millions of underemployed people, let alone unemployed people, and I've gone over that on my show. People that aren't even in statistics anymore, they've dropped off out of any of the actual statistics that are out there. There's all kinds of stuff. Lots of people that are not financially comfortable really at all, right? So those people feel ignored. So there is something to be said about that. And I hope the Democratic Party doesn't resort to just sticking with criticisms of Bernie Sanders or FBI Director Comey, when I think there is a lot more to it than that. So the other fact that I wanted to put out there is that Donald Trump is the 45th President of the United States. So going forward, we have to find ways to work together, which means we need to have discussion. What are the most important issues? Get the money out of politics, get people back to work. We have an environmental crisis. We have institutional and societal crisis that we better start confronting and identifying and solving the problems to create solutions like right now. And I'm going to be working on that, as I really have been for a long, long time. But I think 2017 is going to be an even bigger year to get engaged in that. And we'll talk more soon. I love you. Stay in the moment.